and thank you for joining us for this edition of Parent Points. Audience, you're always tuning in to find out who we have to talk to, and today we've got someone I am so excited about. I have brought a pen and tablet to take notes, so if you're in a situation where you can take notes, I think Dr. Haley Perlus is the person we want to pay attention to. Welcome, Haley.
Thanks, Gretchen. Thank you for having me.
Well, I want to start with you are a sports and performance psychologist.
That's correct.
What is that? That's my first question.
Well, can I start with a story on how I became or how I decided?
Absolutely.
Okay. So I was 12 years old, so I was a child, and I grew up as a competitive alpine ski racer. And I was fairly good at 12, so I was asked to go and compete in what would be considered the junior world championships. And I was bib number 9, and bib number 8 is in the starting gate. And my coach comes up to me and does what coaches typically do with 12-year-old children, give you some tips and tricks on how to perform your best. But then he did something different. He straddled my skis, pulled out a $100 bill, I'm 12, placed it in front of my face, and told me that he had bet on me to win this race. He then told me that he wasn't prepared to lose because he had lost before in a different athlete. He then pointed me in the direction of the starting gate, smiled, and told me to go have fun. So in that moment, this is where the performance psychology aspect came in. In that moment, I was at a fork in the road mentally. On one hand, how could a coach do that and then bet on me? What if he's wrong? What if I make a mistake? On the other hand, if he believes in me, why shouldn't I believe in myself? So I chose that one, not knowingly because I was only 12, but he must have known that I would have chosen that story. I went down the hill, I won the race. And then he brought a sports psychologist to come and speak to my team 2 weeks later. And I put the two together and I realized that that's what I wanted to do when I grow up, which is really help athletes, but even as young as 12 years old, or maybe even a little bit younger, figure out how to work with anxiety and how to positively self-talk and how to, not just be afraid to compete, but actually embrace competition and learn from it and enjoy your friends and to really receive feedback from your coaches and from your parents.
That is an awesome story. And I can just see your enthusiasm in your face. Now, an element of all performances, whether it's sports or whatever, it's between our ears.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you tell a 12-year-old or a 15-year-old or a 25-year-old to address what's going on between their ears so that their hands and feet can perform better?
Yes. So I am very much cognitive and then behavioral. So if we can focus just on kids, if we think about my story, my coach bet on me. Now, that doesn't happen to all kids, and I'm not recommending coaches bet on their athletes, nor their parents bet on their athletes or their children. But I couldn't really control that situation. But between the ears, I had two options. I was either going to tell myself an oh no story. What if he's wrong? What if I make a mistake? How could he do that? Or an oh yeah story. Wow, if he believes in me so much that he's willing to put that much pressure on me, it must be because I'm doing something right. So we want to teach our children how to turn an oh no story into an oh yeah story.
I think that phrase, oh no versus oh yes, is going to be pivotal in my life from now on. I'm a person who struggles with self-talk. And when you struggle with self-talk, that generally means it's not good self-talk. And so this whole concept of an oh no moment becoming an oh yes moment, can we extrapolate that to say just day-to-day life activities of our primary audience, which happens to be moms? How can moms use this technique, which I'm so excited about? I didn't even know you were going to say this, but look, I wrote it down. Oh no, oh yes. How can we take that and apply it in our own lives?
Great question, Gretchen. I've got 3 solutions, and I'm just going to go through all 3. They're not step-by-steps. They're 3 different. So when you're confronted with, say, a mental block, like you said, a negative thought that's preventing you from feeling your best or from even doing your best. Solution number 1 is you assess your situation. Can I change my situation? Can I ask for help? Can I manipulate my environment? Can I change my schedule? Can I, anything with regards to changing your environment? If you can't change your environment, the second solution is, can I change the way I look at the situation? So there are a lot of moms, and I'm sure, who want to exercise, for example, because we know the value of exercise. And they intend to do it when everything gets done, but at the end of the day, they say they're too tired. Well, emotionally and mentally, absolutely, you're exhausted. But one of the greatest benefits of exercise is emotional and mental recovery. And then you get to go to move, and then you get to go move your body and create energy. So, oh no, I'm too tired to exercise turns into, oh yeah, my body actually is ready for some stress, and exercise is going to help me mentally and emotionally recover. So, oh no, I'm too tired. Oh yeah, I'm actually craving this, and it's going to be the best recovery for my mind and my emotions. How
Love
does it
it.
work for you?
That is so perfect. Okay, so what's number 3?
The third one is, sometimes, can I be so blunt? Sometimes some things just simply suck. And sometimes it's really difficult to turn an oh no into an oh yeah. In that situation, we need to, what I call accept and act. Accept what is and take action on what we can control. So accept that today is an overwhelming day. To accept today that things didn't happen the way it was planned. To accept that I'm feeling anxious today. Instead of trying to push that aside or figure out all the reasons why, just accept that you're feeling that way. And then take action on what you can control right now, the task at hand. Get back on the achievement train. Get back off the path of feeling like overwhelmed and maybe even failing, and get back on the path of success by acting on something that you have control over. So change the situation, change the way you look at the situation, going from an oh no to an oh yeah, or accepting what is, and then taking action on what you can control right now and making some progress. Even the smallest, something is better than nothing.
Okay, number 3 really resonates with me because that's something I do. I go home exhausted and frazzled, but I'm not thinking about exercise. I walk in my house and it looks like I've had a flash mob in there. And so you step in the door and your whole house bugs you and you can't really burn it down. The insurance company doesn't like that. So when I'm in that frazzled mode and I go to a house that is as frazzled as I am, or any situation really, I ask myself, what's one thing I can do right now to make this better? And I do that one thing.
Yeah, I love that. And then if you can, let's just use your example and having to clean up some stuff and organize and tidy. I really find music very impactful to change our emotional states. So if you can tag on your theme song, I'm really big on everyone having a theme song. Mine, if you remember Flashdance, it's my favorite song. It's my favorite movie of all time. So when I put on the song What a Feeling, take your passion and make it happen, it immediately shifts my emotions from a negative to a positive. And then, yeah, I'm having to organize and tidy up, but I've got the music to support a positive mood.
Oh, that is terrific. Okay, so I'm going to summarize some takeaways right now because I'm taking notes, and audience, this is important. You're going to share this video for me. So one of the important tools you have is helping people come up with an oh no moment and transform it into an oh yes moment. And then we're talking about this, and there's 3 ways of approaching something. One is you've got some negative thoughts going on. It's horrible. This is awful. What am I going to do? You can assess it and figure out what you can change in your environment. You can look at your perspective and figure out what you can change in your perspective. And sometimes you have to accept that it sucks and figure out what action you can take right now to make it better.
You're a good student.
I'm so excited about this. And then the third takeaway, and we're going to get this up on screen later, is everybody needs a theme song. This is just such a wonderful, crystal clear little nugget as a gift to other people.
Thanks. It works for me and it works for people in my consulting practice. So yeah, you continue to, you use it and then you reap the benefits. And then these things actually become habitual. So negative thinking, we have to remember, is habitual thinking. We get into the habit of it, but we only get into the habit of it because we're rehearsing it. And with repetition and frequency, those thoughts become a habit. So what we have to do is replace that negative habit or negative thought with a positive thought and positive behavior. And then in time, so we have to be a little bit of have some patience, but with time and repetition and frequency, those positive behaviors become your new habit.
This makes such good sense. I'm going to share something personal, but years ago, I had trouble with intrusive negative thoughts. And it was like, you're a failure, you're a failure. I'm a recovering perfectionist. Mm-hmm. And so I was struggling with these just horrible negative thoughts that came in. And I knew I had to break them. And so what I did is I decided I was going to, when I found myself doing that pattern of you're no good, you're a failure, whatever, I would either recite the Lord's Prayer or the doxology or the affirmation of faith. I would use something that I had to focus my mind on to break it. And eventually it worked. It wasn't instantaneous, but I was able to break that a constant train in my mind. Instead of going chugga, 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 it was going, you're yuck, you're yuck, you're yuck, you're yuck. Mm-hmm. And you just don't even know it's there when you're used to it, but it's there sapping your whole day.
Right. So what you did was we call attentional cues. You had this pattern interrupt with your prayers. It was a pattern interrupt, but it's also an attentional cue to help you change your behaviors, shift patterns, deep breathing, meditation, music, a physical action. It could be a physical, I do something called progressive muscular relaxation, where I just tense really hard for 10 seconds, and then I intentionally recover. And that kind of moves me out of a negative into a positive. Mentally, emotionally, but also you get blood circulating through your body, which gives you glucose and energy.
Now, I know I can tell we could talk for hours and hours, but I want to ask a couple of things. One is, if someone really wants to learn more about this and what you do you have a website or a book or something that we can refer people to?
Best place is my website, so drhaleyperlus.com. And I do, if you opt in, then you get weekly videos from me. So I do these very short videos. Sometimes it's learning from a professional athlete and talk about mental toughness. Sometimes it's an experience that I had being my own athlete. Sometimes it's athletes that I work with in my consulting practice, and I share their stories and how they conquered their mental blocks. Every week we put out a video. So I highly, highly encourage everyone to go there and opt in. And then you can also contact me directly and I will respond. I'm that person who responds.
Okay. Well, I don't want to keep you any further because I know you have some obligations, and I really respect your time. And I respect the fact that you came to spend time with us here in Mississippi in your busy life. But I just want to point out to those of you listening, this information we've just gone over, you can use it with your kids. You can use it with yourself. And if you know someone who's struggling, share this video. Haley puts it so concisely and so clearly. I just think we need to put 5 stars on this episode and send it out everywhere. So if y'all would help in that would really help us. Haley, thank you. And can we reserve the right to call you back later?
Anytime, Gresham. Happy to help.
I'm really thinking, why don't we look towards around the holidays when everybody gets a little extra frazzled, and you can help us come up with ways to address that.
See, now you're really putting the pressure on, but I'm going to take it as a good sign. So you've got high expectations, and I'm going to use that. I'm not going to go, oh no, I'm going to go, oh yeah.
Yes.
And bring it on. I would love to help around the holidays.
Honestly, this information is so helpful. I think you could probably read us your grocery list and we'd glean something useful from it. So run off and have a great rest of your day, and we'll be in touch soon.
Thank you.